for gun regulation follow every school shooting, but whether Wednesday's killings will impact Georgia's lax gun laws, it remains to be seen. Governor Brian Kemp said later that day it was not the time for politics or policy.
But the Fox 5 High team spoke with a Democratic lawmaker and former Fulton prosecutor who says the felony charges filed against the suspect's father could be a deterrent of their own. Fox 5 High team reporter Johnny Edwards has some insight on this case. It's a rather aggressive prosecutorial approach, Johnny, going after the parents. We haven't really seen this much nationally in U.S. history.
Well, the attack Wednesday has the highest death count of any Georgia shooting in Georgia's history. Prosecutors responded with a legal move we've seen before in Michigan when the parents of Ethan Crumbley faced charges, later convicted, after their son killed 4 people and injured 7 at Oxford High School.
My understanding is this is the second time in the United States and the first time in Georgia.
Barrow County District Attorney Brad Smith, speaking after Colin and Colt Gray's first court appearances today, acknowledged that charging parents of a school shooter has been done at least once before.
My job is to prosecute people without fear, or affection, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not trying to send a message.
But state representative and former Fulton County homicide prosecutor Tanya Miller said she has no doubt prosecutors and police want to send a message to Georgia parents who own guns, that if your mentally troubled child goes on a shooting rampage with your gun, expect to be held accountable too.
So part of what we do in prosecution is try to deter people from doing crimes like this again in the future. And I think that the reason why you are seeing such swift action in this case is in part, yes, there is a message being communicated to families, to parents, to individual gun owners that they are responsible. They are responsible to make sure that the weapons that they possess are kept in a manner that is safe.
Miller says what's sure to play into the prosecution of Colin Gray is that visit to his home by Jackson County Sheriff's investigators in May 2023, when Colt had just finished 7th grade at Jefferson Middle School. The investigators were looking into an FBI tip that someone on a gaming app had threatened to shoot up a middle school. They thought Colt might be involved. In a recording of that interview obtained by the Fox 5i team, Colt denied making the threats. That seemed to satisfy the investigators.
I promise I will never say something like that.
So you haven't used Discord in a few months?
Oh, no.
And you're saying you didn't say anything like that?
No, the only thing I have is TikTok, but I just go around there and watch videos.
But his father, Colin Gray, told them about his son's problems at school. Here he is talking to a sheriff's investigator in a follow-up phone call about his son being picked on.
I don't want him to fight anybody, but they just keep, pinching him and touching him, and, words are one thing, but you start touching him, and that's a whole different deal. And it's escalated to the point where, his finals were last week, and that was the last thing on his mind.
Miller said police may have evidence of other incidents between that police visit and Wednesday's shootings.
So the degree of that evidence needs to be robust enough, and it's all factual, to convince a jury that, in fact, based on all of these little pieces of evidence that you were aware of uniquely as the father of this child, should have made you aware that this was a real threat and a real danger, and that you should have taken action.
We have a new development tonight. We reported yesterday after Jackson County investigators questioned the Grays, a captain wrote an email to the FBI saying local schools would be made aware of Colt Gray and he would be monitored. Sheriff Janice Mangum told us it's unclear if that got done. Today, the I-team obtained an email to parents from the superintendent of the school district Colt attended at the time, Jefferson City Schools. It said the district was not aware of online threats and has no record of an investigation. We've reached out to the school district but haven't heard back. So it remains unclear if the alert about Colt even went to schools in Jackson County, much less over to Barrow County where the attack happened.
Johnny, you have to imagine that this is probably the biggest case Barrow County has seen possibly ever.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't think of anything.
Yeah, it's a small town where the shooting happened.
Right. And I know this rocked the town. I mean, I was over there Wednesday, and people were coming up to our crew just talking to us about how deeply this hurt them, and that they appreciated us being out there getting the information to them. And, I mean, how do you ever recover from something like this?
Yeah, they're going to have to, and it's going to be a long road for sure. Johnny, thanks.
Thank you.
Well, community members, students,